أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيبنا وصفينا أبو القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Disobedience of Allah is in many forms. One of the forms on how a person disobeys Allah is through his knowledge, through his understanding of the concept of the worldview, through his concept towards others, through his explanation of how he understands things towards others. This is one of the ways on how a person can disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can this person disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? With high knowledge, educated, but how can he disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He can disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if this person does not benefit from his knowledge. It means that when you are a learned person, you are a scholar, university level, professor, PhD, high understanding of the field of knowledge. But if this field of knowledge is not drawing you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not making you realize that there is an end for you and your life, then it means that this knowledge is making you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you everything that you have. For example, look at the body that you have. The body that you have, the science of the body that you have has got a lot of evidence and proof for you to verify your knowledge that you should come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, look at the manufacture of your eyes, the manufacture of your ears, the manufacture of your nose, the manufacture of your mouth, and each and every part of your body. This is knowledge all in all. Besides the knowledge that you can get from university, besides the knowledge that you can get from school, but this knowledge that you have within yourself is a knowledge that will draw you to have an understanding of the external knowledge. Why? Because this knowledge that I have mentioned about is the internal knowledge. Through this knowledge, you get to be educated. You have the high levels of, for example, PhD holder. But if your concept is making people lose their way towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are disobeying the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this knowledge of yours is making you to go astray, is making you to make other people go astray. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, in one of the places talking about the holders of knowledge, he says that أشد الناس عذابا يوم القيامة عالم لم ينفع علمه. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that the worst person to have the worst chastisement, to have the worst punishment on Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the Day of Judgment, is a scholar whom did not benefit from his own knowledge. Yes, it can be the scholar of religious studies. If you are a scholar of religious studies, you are a Maulana, you are a Sheikh, you are a person that is called to be a higher person in religion, but if you are not benefiting from this knowledge, meaning what? Meaning that you have the Quran into you, you have all the hadith into you, but this hadith does not make you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same hadith is making you make other people go astray. The same Quran that you have studied for years as a Maulana, as a Shaykh, as a religious scholar, is making you make other people lose their way or disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Besides that, also, this is the secular knowledge also that we can talk about, because everybody that has studied, that has learned, is a scholar. Your field of knowledge in your university, if it's making you realize the importance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you obey the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through what you have studied from the university, then it means that this knowledge is making you benefit. But now, if your knowledge makes you to be arrogant, to be ignorant, then you are not benefiting from this knowledge. In another place, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentions a very important point about a person who does not benefit from his own knowledge, about the alim, about the scholar who does not benefit from his own knowledge that he studied for some years. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that إن الجاهل من عصى الله وإن كان جميل المنظر عظم الخطر. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this point, he mentions that indeed an ignorant person is that person who disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if he might be with the appearance of beauty, he might be beautiful, he might be dressing nice clothing, he might be seen to be so much attracted to other people. Meaning what? It means that also your knowledge that you study from the university can make the people get to be attracted to you. Why? Because of, for example, the way you speak, your eloquence. People, they see that this is the university level. People, they understand that this is the university level. So, an ignorant person, according to the Prophet, is that person whom disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though he might be attracted to people, even though he might be so nice to people, but if he is disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through his knowledge, then it means that this person is very ignorant.
الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما